All right. Well, I figured I would go ahead and make a follow-up video to the original video that I did about my health and all the things that I've been through. I'm just sitting here in Carline right now to pick my children up, so I figured now's the best time as any. I'm here about an hour early, so I figured I could sit here and record a video while I'm waiting. So anyway, I think where I left off was where I had gone to the hospital in Columbia, South Carolina, and basically the hospitalist had come into the room because I had refused to take any more of the Dilaudid because it was starting to make me hallucinate. And I think that they have to, after the IV pain medicine, you have to be off of it for a certain amount of time before they'll allow you to go home. And I had already chosen that night to stop taking it because I was like seeing rainbows all over the place. I mean, I've taken like mushrooms and stuff like that before. It wasn't like that, but I was seeing some stuff, and I just wasn't in a comfortable enough state to experience that. Even though the pain was really bad, I just really wasn't feeling the hallucinations and all that stuff. I was just in a really bad state of mind at the time, so I really didn't want to deal with that. So anyway, I refused the medication that morning. I guess probably about 11 o'clock in the morning, maybe a little bit later. The hospitalist had come in the room. My wife was in there with me, and she just bluntly just came in the room and said, "Hey, see, you have refused the Dilaudid. We were waiting on you to stop taking that before you can go home, and since you stopped taking it on your own volition, we're going to allow you to go ahead and go home." And then she told me the news that I was not expecting. That was she told me that I have cirrhosis of the liver, and basically I have about a year left to live, and I was going to die. She told me I needed to go home and spend time with my family. And that was really difficult, especially for my wife and I. It just took us by surprise. I knew I was really ill, but I didn't know to the extent of how ill I really was. So this was back in October of 2022, when right at the beginning of October, I think like October 1st or 2nd, I'd been in the hospital for 2 weeks. I'd gone septic. I had all kinds of fluid on my stomach. They had already drained my abdomen a couple of times, got liters of fluid out of my stomach, and like I remember saying in that original video, or one of the videos I've done, that I had so much fluid in me, in my legs and in my belly, and it was so uncomfortable. My legs were rubbing together. It was horrible. And I remember getting home and I just could not get comfortable. My grandmother had made me like beef stew or something like that, and I remember getting home that night from the hospital, and my mom and my grandmother came by and brought me food. I tried to eat. I couldn't eat anything. I remember trying to sit on my couch. I couldn't get comfortable on the couch. I couldn't get comfortable laying in my bed. I couldn't get comfortable anywhere. It didn't matter what I did. I would take my pillows and try adjusting them all kinds of different ways. It didn't matter what I did. I was just so uncomfortable. My stomach was so large that actually, due to the ascites and the pressure on my stomach, I actually got a hernia from that. And I just went to the doctor back on beginning of November, and spoke with a surgeon about having surgery on that. I didn't know, but I have 2 hernias, umbilical hernias. I guess the muscle in my abdomen burst open from all that fluid, and I have 2 hernias. And the one that I could really see, due to all the pressure from the ascites, was like poking out probably about like that far out of my stomach. And I mean, it was so embarrassing. I hated going anywhere because already I was just distended already, with my stomach just already poking. I couldn't keep my pants up because my belly was so big. And then on top of it, I've got this hernia that's poking out of my stomach, and it it was horrible. I remember, trying to cover it up and wearing really baggy jackets and stuff like that. It didn't matter. You could still see it really well. But either way, I came home, was very, very, very sick. Went and saw a GI doctor. He started me on some stuff like Xifaxan, I think was the name of the antibiotic that they give you due to your ammonia levels. I can't remember what it's called, but when your ammonia levels start getting really high, you start to get really confused and stuff like that. And I did have that condition going on. I never got any like real jaundice in my eyes or anything. My skin did turn a little bit yellow. I remember when I would urinate, my pee was like really, really, really dark brown. So anyway, I'm home, went saw the GI, he got me on the medications, all that stuff, and then he referred me to a specialist, a liver specialist at MUSC in Charleston. I went to go see him, and I had to do an MRI with contrast and all that kind of stuff, and or a CAT scan. I can't remember which one it was, but when I went and saw him, I got a glimmer of hope, because he told me that I do have cirrhosis, but I also had a blood clot in the portal vein going to my liver, and a blood clot in my spleen and in my splenic vein. This is all due to the pancreatitis. I don't know the mechanism behind why you get blood clots because of that, but I got blood clots due to that reason. The liver specialist set me up to speak with an interventional radiologist. About a month later, I went and spoke with the interventional radiologist, and after speaking with him, he said, hey, we can do this surgery. It's called a TIPS procedure, and basically, I don't know what that acronym, it's an acronym for something, I don't know what it means, but anyway, what it does is they put something like a stent inside of your portal vein, I think. I know that they go in a whole bunch of different places. They went in my neck, my right above my belly button. They went in my groin. I think they put a big needle in the side into your liver. Anyway, so they went in there, and they told me that that I could have this procedure done. And basically, what it does is it bypasses the blood going to the liver because of the scar tissue. Your liver can't process the blood the same way that a healthy liver does, and so I guess they bypass the majority of that blood that goes into your liver, is filtered through your liver, and it goes directly back to your heart. So in January of this year, I went and had a TIPS procedure done. I woke up in excruciating pain. I mean, I remember them wheeling me down the hallway, and I could see the lights, and I remember just screaming bloody murder because my stomach hurt so bad. And they took me into the room, and then I found out that the TIPS procedure was unsuccessful, which was very upsetting. And then I ended up spending, I think, like a week and a half in the hospital after that, recovering from that surgery. I was very, very sick. I was in a whole lot of pain. And not to mention, just the mental stress that I had and the way I felt because it was a failed attempt. I was just really upset. And I'll be completely honest, through this whole period of time, it was really hard to be optimistic. I did keep my head up, but there was a lot of times that I would lay in the bed and just cry, and and I just thought my life was over. I used to be really heavy into whitewater kayaking. I did it for many, many years, was really good at it, had multiple boats. I ended up selling all those because I just thought to myself, there's no way in the world that I'm ever going to be able to get back into that sport ever again, because there's just no way. And I sold the boats and, helped pay some mortgage payments with that. I used to have a canoe. I sold that too. I sold all my stuff. I sold anything that ever, like, any of my hobbies or any of that stuff that made me happy. I just got rid of it all, because I thought that there was no chance of me ever recovering enough that I would be able to get back to doing any of that stuff ever again. So the way I saw it was, at least I could help pay some mortgage payments, and that's what I did. I got rid of everything. I just didn't see any glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel. I just thought, that I had a death sentence. So anyway, failed attempt at the TIPS procedure, and then, the surgeon never spoke with me directly. He spoke with my mother and my wife and told them what happened. I don't remember. I think there was so much scar tissue in the blood vessel or the artery that he couldn't get through there. So he said, I think that they can only attempt that surgery like 2 times because it's so invasive on the liver. But he never mentioned trying it again. And I just went on about my life. So I just pretty much, like I said, I just figured I had a death sentence and that was it. I'm going to die and it's not going to be that long. So, I did my best to spend as much time with my kids, my wife as I could. And I tried to be as positive as I could. At the point after my TIPS procedure failed, I had pretty much accepted the fact that I was going to die. And, and I'm still not going to live to be 60 years old. I know that for a fact. The doctors have pretty much, they told me that my case is very complicated, and there's just not enough literature for them to be able to, give me a life expectancy with the amount of procedures and everything I've had with my liver health, my pancreas, and all that good stuff. Oh, I forgot to mention as well, they did a splenic thrombosis on me as well when I had that TIPS procedure done. That's what was causing the majority of the pain. So I laid in the hospital while my spleen, half of my spleen, I think they cut off the blood supply to it. So I laid in the hospital while my spleen died. Half of it died on me. And I'm telling you, excruciating pain. Horrible. I mean, they had me on every kind of painkiller you can imagine. They had me on Dilaudid, and then I think like oxycodone, like 5 milligrams every 2 hours or something for breakthrough pain. And I was taking every last bit of it plus ice bags on my stomach and heating pads and everything I could think of to try to alleviate that pain. So anyway, moving on to April of this year, I really worked really hard to try to get that fluid back on, because I had gotten the fluid off of my stomach, majority of it, between October and when I went in to have my procedure done in January. And then after that procedure happened, I ended up getting ascites again, and this time it got really, really bad. And they said it was because they had irritated my liver, I guess, that I accumulated all that fluid. And they were giving me, IV in there for, almost 2 weeks, just pumping me full of fluids. So anyway, I had to fight to get all that fluid back off again, constantly drinking protein shakes and trying to get up and move and exercise and do the most that I could, and being very restrictive on my sodium intake and all that kind of stuff. Only 1,000 milligrams of sodium every day, I think it was what it was, or 2,000 milligrams. I'm not really quite sure. It's been a while. And in April, we had rescheduled our trip to Disney World as a family. We were supposed to go in October of 2022, but I was sick and we couldn't go, so we had to reschedule it. And in April, we took our trip to Disney World, went down there, had a pretty good time. It was a little tough on me. It was pretty hot. And I ended up getting really sick one day. We were at the Animal Kingdom and I had to leave really early, and I ended up bursting out in tears because I had to leave my family there. But my wife and my kids really wanted to ride some of the rides, and I rode back to our condo with my father-in-law. They left with me so I could go back and lay down. And anyway, so after that trip, about a week later, I ended up getting really sick again, and it was pancreatitis again. And ended up going to the hospital, was hospitalized for another 2 weeks with pancreatitis. This time, I went to a local hospital in Augusta, Georgia called Doctors Hospital, and then they sent all of my imaging to my pancreas doctor in Charleston, and he said, "You have to come down here now." So it was pretty funny because the doctor, the hospitalist at the doctor's hospital said, hey, I never do this, but I think that you're okay enough. I don't want you to have to wait because it might be like 2 or 3 days before we get an ambulance to take you down there. I'm going to load you up with a bunch of morphine and we're just going to send you down and you go straight to Charleston. So they gave me a big dose of morphine and shot me down. My wife drove me down to Charleston and ended up sitting in the emergency room for 24 hours. Because they were completely full of capacity and there was no room for me. So waited in the emergency room for 24 hours in one of the rooms till they get me to a room upstairs, and then had to wait like 3 or 4 days to have the procedure done, which was an ERCP. They went in and did the ERCP, and they tried to clear out that pancreatic duct, because the doctor had seen that I had a blockage in my pancreatic duct, and he wanted to try to get that out. They weren't sure if it was gallstones or what. My gallbladder was enlarged and distended, so they weren't really sure exactly what was going on. But anyway, had that ERCP done, didn't work out, still had a blockage in my pancreatic duct. He said my pancreas was too inflamed. And now here we are. I've had, I think, 7 or 8 ERCPs done. I just had another one done on the 14th of November. Not this last one, but the one before, he was, after many attempts, he was able to actually get a stent into that pancreatic duct. He said that my pancreatic duct was so scarred and just shriveled up that it was so hard to get a stent in there, but he was able to get the smallest stent in possible. And then he said that I'm gonna have you come back in like 2 months, and then we're going to, or 6 weeks, and we're gonna attempt to do it again and put a larger stent in. And I thought that was gonna be it. Well, I went and had the procedure done on the 14th, ended up getting hospitalized because I was in so much pain. And after he did the procedure, he came in and spoke with me. He told me, I'm sorry, but you've got like another year's worth of surgeries of ERCPs as we basically rebuild your pancreas. So this last time, he put 2 stents into my pancreas. And basically what he told me that he's going to do is he's trying to stretch that pancreatic duct open enough so that after this year is up, and he's done this multiple times, I think the next time they're going to put 3 stents and then up to 4 stents, and then they're going to have to go back in there and remove them and turn them and all this kind of stuff, because I guess they get clogged up really easily. But anyway, so with that said, I've got another year's worth of procedures I've got to have done. I think I have to go like every 2 months and have those stents pulled and replaced. And I know for sure that the next time they're going to put 3 stents in. And then after that, I don't know if they go up to 4. I'm not really sure. We haven't really gotten that far in the conversation. But that's where I'm at. So, I also forgot to include the fact that in June, I got a phone call from MUSC. This is basically the highlight of this video right here. So in June, I get a phone call from my interventional radiologist in MUSC, and he said he wanted to see me. So I went down there, did an office visit with him, and he said, hey, look, I'm leaving this hospital, and I'm pretty much one of the only doctors here that can do this procedure on you, and I'm going to be leaving here soon. This is a miracle in itself. I believe in God, and I really think that this is, God's work here, because it was just kind of all of a sudden, like I said, he just calls me, I go down there, and next thing you know, he's telling me that he's leaving the hospital and he wants to try the procedure again, because he, from my wife and from my mother, when they said that they spoke with him, he seemed really upset that he wasn't able to get that initial TIPS procedure done in January. So he wanted to try again. So this doctor, this surgeon, actually had already stopped working at MUSC, and he was using up the rest of his vacation time, and came in on his vacation, closed down the whole operating room for the day, and did a TIPS procedure on me. I was in surgery for 8.5 hours or something like that when they did the TIPS procedure, and woke up and it was successful. So I do have a tips. I have a shunt in my liver as well. Um, so supposedly this is supposed to help with the varices to shrink. Due to my last scans that I had done, I still have varices and they're still pretty large. They say it takes time for that to go down. And I still have portal hypertension, and I take medication for that every day. And I guess over time it'll eventually start to go down enough where I might not have to take that anymore. I do know that I'll have to be on blood thinners for the rest of my life due to the blood clots and all that stuff. I'm on a lot of medications. And a lot of them I will have to take for the rest of my life, and it's all due to the consumption of alcohol. And I can promise you, I've been, so many tears, so much pain, so much time at the hospital, so much time driving back and forth and all this stuff. It's really just not worth it. It's just not. So on top of having that tip procedure, the next day I wake up and they said you can have breakfast. So I eat my breakfast, and the next thing you know, one of the interventional radiologists came in. The doctor who did the initial surgery had taken the next day off. He was leaving. So one of the other interventional radiologists comes in and goes, "Hey, have you eaten breakfast?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "That's not good." And I went, why? He said, you have bleeding in your liver, or internal bleeding in your liver, and we're going to have to do surgery. And unfortunately, since you've eaten, you're going to have to be awake for this. And let me tell you, I was so scared. So I went into surgery wide awake. They administered fentanyl, I think, while they did the surgery. I was in there for 3.5 hours while they had to go in there and put those coils in or whatever and stop the bleeding. And just talk about traumatizing. I mean, it was horrible. But either way, that's pretty much it for, my health and what's been going on. I am due to have surgery on my hernia on December the 20th. I go down next week to do my pre-op with them, and then on the 20th I'll have surgery, and not looking forward to it, but it's got to happen because I don't want to have something happen where I get an entanglement or something like that in my intestines, and then we're talking about a whole nother slew of problems that I'm not trying to deal with. So that's it in a nutshell. I know it's a lot. Sorry for the long video, but I did want to finally get this out there and just tell you what the rest of the things that have happened to me with my health and all the procedures that I've been through. I am going to continue to make videos, talk about alcoholism, and continue to update you on my health and all that kind of stuff. And but anyway, the comments that I'm getting from you guys are just so awesome. I really appreciate all of you watching my videos, commenting on my videos. I'm getting so much positive feedback. People tell me that I'm helping them a lot. It's really humbling that I'm able to help people due to these videos. At the end of the day, that's the only reason I'm making these. I'm not doing this for any other reason than to try to help somebody. If, like I've said, if I can help one person, that's all that matters. If one person quits drinking and can prevent having to go through all the stuff I've been through, then I've done my job. So, once again, hey, I love all you guys. God bless all of you. Thank you for watching my video again, and I'll be posting up another one real soon. Hey, you guys, God bless you, and much love.